When that is not true, that is not the truth, and it's time to expose these lies for what they are. But here's another major issue that I'm going to share with you that we see with Paul's letters, and one of them is the quote, made a curse for us. And we're all familiar with this passage, and this passage has been quoted before, but when you take a deeper look at this passage and get an understanding of what a curse actually is and how one is actually cursed, then you start to see the deeper truths behind it. But here we are in Galatians chapter 3, verses 13 through 14, where it says, Messiah has redeemed us from the curse of the Thurah, or the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone who hangs upon a tree, in order that the barakah of Abraham might come upon the nations in Yahuah HaMashiach to receive the promise of the Ruach through Amunah. But do we have an understanding of what a curse is? And when I say an understanding, I'm talking about a Yahudiath, a Hebrew understanding and a Hebraic mind of what a curse actually is, and his word, what he says is a curse, or our own understanding. Because we're going to be taking a look at this passage, and you're going to be seeing how the translators tampered with this. So now we're here in Deuteronomy 21 verses 22 through 23, which talks about the punishment about being hung on a tree. Well, all right, so now we're here and we're in this verse right here. Now pay careful attention to some of the language, because when you take a look at some of these versions, again, the wicked translators, they did a whole bunch of adding and taking away, which is against his word. One way to know how they've done this is if you see anything that has italics or anything that is in parentheses, that means that it was added by the translators and that it was not in the original manuscripts of Scripture. So when you see right here, for he who is hanged is accursed of all, well, then you see that that was an added passage by the translators purposefully and maliciously. It was added to the KJV. So that passage where it says that whoever is hanged is accursed, that was added and was not in the original text of Scripture. Why would the translators do that? Well, to promote lawlessness, of course, and to promote their own narrative, just like they always do, because there's always an agenda behind it, a sinister one. And folks, like we talked about in our video with the true locations, these deceptions did not just start. They've been going on for thousands and thousands of years, if not even during the time of the Messiah himself. But here are some examples of curses with witnesses to prove it and the word to back it up. Because who was cursed according to Scripture? Adam was cursed according to Genesis 3:17. The serpent was cursed according to Genesis 3:14. Canaan was cursed according to Genesis 9:25. And then wicked, stubborn, stiff-necked Yasharal was cursed according to Leviticus 26:14 through 46 and Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68. However, these four examples right here, because there are four witnesses, so two or more, to establish this matter, but these four examples of curses, they're all results and direct results of what? Disobedience. So to say that the Messiah was cursed and made a curse for us is saying that our Messiah transgressed and was resulting in disobedience, when this is not true, because he is without spot and without blemish. Do you see how that statement is of blasphemy? Because now we're going to talk about what a curse actually is and how Yahuah defines curses in the word itself in Devarim, Deuteronomy 27 verses 15 through 26, where it says, cursed is the man who makes a carved or molded image, an abomination to Yahuah, the work of the hands of the craftsman, and places it up in secret. And the people shall answer and say, Aman, which means truly, which is a Yahudiath word that can also mean it is so. But again, the question you need to be asking yourself, does Yahusha fall under any of these categories of a scriptural definition of a curse? Because if not, then he was not made a curse for us. Because verse 16 says, cursed is he who makes light of his dad or his mom, and the people shall say truly. Cursed is he who moves his neighbor's boundary, and all the people shall say aman, or truly. Cursed is he who misleads the blind in the way, and all the people shall say truly. Cursed is he who twists the right ruling of the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, and all the people shall say truly, or aman. Cursed is he who lies with his dad's wife, because he has uncovered his dad's bed, and all the people shall say aman, or truly. Cursed is he who lies with any beast or bestiality, and all the people shall say aman. Cursed is he who lies with his sister, the daughter of his dad, or the daughter of his mom. And all the people shall say, Amen, truly. Cursed is he who lies with his mom-in-law, and all the people shall say, Amen, truly. Cursed is he who smites his neighbor secretly, and all the people shall say, Amen, or truly. Cursed is he who takes a bribe to slay an innocent being, and all the people shall say, Amen, or truly. Verse 26, Cursed is he who does not establish the words of this Thurah, and all the people shall say Aman, or truly. And we're going to look at Strong's H779 to learn more about this word curse right here. But again, the question is, does Yahusha fit any of the categories of a scriptural curse according to Scripture? The answer to this question is no, he does not. Therefore, he was not made a curse for us then, and therefore we see and expose the lies of Paul and also the wicked translators who also played a role in this deception too. But you can see the word from Strong's H779, arar, which means to curse or to bring about a curse, or cursed is everyone who cursed woman, utterly cursed. But again, we have a Yahudiath Hebraic understanding of the word curse, which is what? A direct result of disobedience.
Duizenden audioboeken in één app. Probeer Storytel nu 14 dagen gratis. Ga naar storytel.nl.
And we know Yahusha is obedient to his own word, and he cannot break his own word through Ra, because he's the living word, the word made flesh. So therefore somebody is lying. But these are just more questions to ponder, like right here in 1 Timothy chapter 1, verses 18 through 20, where it says, This charge I entrust to you, son Timothy, according to the prophecies previously made concerning you, that by them you might wage the good campaign, having amunah and a good conscience, which some have thrust aside and suffered shipwreck concerning their amunah. Among these are Humenaeus and Alexander, whom I delivered to Satan in order to be taught not to blaspheme. Why would Paul do that? And then we see this even in the passage right here in the account of 1 Corinthians 5, verses 4 through 5, when it talks about a little leaven leavens the whole lump. Or what about the parts before that, where it says, In the name of our sovereign Yahushua HaMashiach, or Messiah, when you are gathered together in my Ruach or spirit with the power of our sovereign Yahushua Messiah, deliver such a one to Satan for destruction of the flesh, in order that his spirit be saved in the day of the sovereign Yahusha. Why is Paul making such statements? And then also when Paul talks about this, receiving a living off of the word, well, he says in 1 Corinthians 9:14, so also the sovereign instituted that those announcing the good news should live from the good news. But Yahusha says in Matthew 10:8, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. You have received without paying, give without being paid. And then this is a common one that's commonly taught in the churches and just commonly taught in religion itself, about saved by grace and only by faith and not by works. And if you just believe in the Messiah that you're saved and you can do whatever you want. Well, let's see if that is scripturally sound, because now we're here in Apostolium, Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9, where it says, For by favor you have been saved through amunah, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Yahuah, it is not by works, so that no one should boast. Well, according to our Messiah, he says that those who endure to the end will be saved. And again, for those who are watching, it is time to come out of religion, but it's also time to come out of that religious Christianity mind of, well, you can do whatever you want, and well, the Messiah loves you because he knows your heart, and because he put it all on the cross, even though he was not nailed to a cross, he was actually hung on a tree, and we've done plenty of videos covering that, but you see the difference here. James 2, verses 18 through 20 says, But someone might say, you have amunah and I have works. Show me your amunah or belief without your works, and I shall show you my amunah by my works. You have amunah that Yahuah is one. You do well. The demons also have amunah and shudder, meaning you believe. Well, the demons believe too. So what's the difference? But then verse 20 says, But do you want to know, O foolish man, that what? Amunah without works is dead. And when James Yaqub says this about someone, well, who is pretty much the only someone all throughout that claims that, it's just by faith and not by works? But this is what our Messiah, Yahusha, says to get another witness. And let's see what Yahusha says, because he says here in Kazun Revelation 22:12, and see, I am coming speedily, and my reward is with me to give to each according to his work, not according to his belief, not according to his faith, not according to that, but according to his work, according to our works, what we do. We need to have both works and amunah. And what about the signs and wonders? Because what does Yahusha warn us? He warns us in Matthew 24:24. For false messiahs and false prophets shall arise, and they shall show great signs and wonders, so as to deceive, if possible, even the elect. And also Mark 13:22, where it's repeated also, if it were possible, even the very elect. But let me ask you this: was deceptions going on even during the time of the Messiah? Were the early religious leaders, were they trying to infiltrate within? Well, let's find out, because Ma'ashah, Acts chapter 15, verses 12 through 13 says, and all the crowd was silent and were listening to Barnabas and Shaul, declaring how many miracles and wonders Yahuah did among the Gentiles through them. You see that? Miracles and wonders. And after this they were silent. Yakub, James answered, saying, men, brothers, listen to me. Could that be why James also makes that statement in chapter 2, verses 18 through 20, where it seems as though he's talking directly to Paul? And remember, it says, if it were possible, even the very elect would be deceived. And so now it's time to be deceived no more, and to open our eyes to the truth, unlearn what we've learned in religion, unlearn what we've held on to in religion and the ideologies, and see the word for itself, see the word for what it says, and not only to stop making excuses, but to acknowledge the word for what it is, acknowledge the truth for what it is, because like it says, the truth is what makes us free. But here in Philippians, or Payalyapyam 1:18, it says, what then? Only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Messiah is announced, and in this I rejoice. In fact, I shall rejoice, whether in pretense or in truth. And then Romans 3:7 says, for if the truth of Yahuah has increased through my lie to his esteem, why am I also still judged as a transgressor? So we see that Paul even admits that he is lying and even is a liar, and that the truth can be announced whether in pretense or in fables. Does the word agree with what Paul is saying? Well, let's find out, because in Yahuah John 8:44, Yahusha says this, you are of your father the devil, and the desires of your father you wish to do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and has not stood in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks the lie, he speaks of his own, for he is the liar and the father of it. Well, was Paul lying about his Damascus account, claiming to see the Messiah, even though he had how many different stories? And that not one of the three accounts matched each other. But then this is what the word also says in Mashalia, Proverbs 6:16 through 19. These 6 matters Yahuah hates, and 7 are an abomination to him. A proud look, a lying tongue, hand shedding innocent blood, a heart devising wicked schemes, feet quick to run to evil, a false witness bearing out lies, and one who causes strife or discord among the brethren. Now you can read more about food offered up to idols, where Paul makes these statements in 1 Corinthians 8:4 through 13, and also Romans 14:14 through 23. But this is what the Messiah has to say about this in Kazun Revelation 2:14, where it says, but I hold a few matters against you, because you have there those who adhere to the teaching of Balaam, who taught Balak to put a stumbling block before the children of Yasharal, to eat food offered to idols and to commit whoring. So eating food offered to idols, that is a demonic, satanic doctrine. But yet Paul seems to defend said doctrine. Why is this the case? But here we have more verses and comparisons that you can look at your own time. Because according to 1 Corinthians 3:10, Paul claims that he built his own foundation. But isn't our foundation built on the chief cornerstone, whom the builders rejected? But then Paul also appoints himself as a teacher, a self-appointed teacher, and calling himself that, just like he calls himself an apostle, even though scripturally speaking he is not an apostle. But according to 2 Timothy 1:11, he appoints himself as a teacher. Yet Yahusha says to call no one our teacher but him. Paul claims righteousness because of faith alone and promotes lawlessness according to Romans 4:11. But yet his word says we are to hear the word and do it also. It's not just by believing and just hearing about it and yeah, you believe in the Messiah and you're good to go. No, it's also in your actions. What are you doing? What are you doing to love? Because what does Yahuah say? If you love him, you will keep his commandments. Paul claims that the law instructions bring death according to Romans 4:15, Romans 7:7-25, and 2 Corinthians 3:6. However, Yahuah says that in order to enter Kaya, we must keep his instructions according to Matthew 19:16-19. Paul teaches about irresistible compassion or mercy according to Romans 9:16, that you can do whatever you want and that you're covered because of Yahuah's mercy, but yet there is a condition, and the condition that Yahuah says is that he shows love and compassion to thousands of us who love him and keep his commandments. And this is even listed in the 10 commandments in Exodus 20 verse 6 and Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 10.
Yeah, for real. It's your favorite eye. Burn them all, miss. Brothers. You know it's all custom to Yahuah. Hey, we don't ever hang around the evildoers. I see the scholars always look to try to school us. They think they strong with the milk, we make them lose. We send the praises to the top, they hallelujah. Nobody feel I'm a lawful connoisseur. I always keep them 613 on my medulla. Can't measure this unless you got Yahuah's ruler. No other method, any other you fall short. Cause with this script, my situation no resort. Without a cover, heavy fire leave you scorched. If you scared, why you jumped about the port? I don't pick it cause I really see the picture. Broken home, but I grew to be a fixture. I keep it straight, I don't ever do no mixing. Tell the truth, all we really talking script.